Hey, what's up guys, Aarava here, and welcome back to an episode of my F1 2019 career mode, episode number 5 today for the Azerbaijan GP, and we start this episode, unfortunately, with two failures to both the aerodynamic parts that we upgraded. The two major aero updates we did have both failed. That's a massive calamity for us at the very start of this episode. If you guys did miss the previous one, the Chinese Grand Prix, then be sure to go check that one out before you see this one. That was quite controversial, and this one is starting with, well, not controversy exactly, but a little bit controversial in terms of I bought for two very expensive upgrades and they both failed us, and so we have no extra downforce for this Grand Prix. We have a lighter car because the chassis weight reduction has come in, but we have no extra aero at the front and end and the back, and I've been complaining about the lack of downforce in this car since the season has begun, so this is not going to help things. You can see how much of a difference that would have made, that potential blue bar going up past the likes of Williams, and I think that was Toro Rosso or McLaren there, so it would have made a huge difference for us. Instead, we're still only the second worst team on the grid in terms of R&D on paper. Of course, the R&D chart is never completely exactly true to what happens out on track, but it very much is the case for us in terms of aerodynamics. You can kind of feel, or I can feel at least, the lack of downforce. So that's very frustrating, but we have to move on. We can't do anything. We've already gone ahead and repurchased those upgrades, so they will come in guaranteed now for next episode of the Spanish Grand Prix, which, if you're going to choose a place for it to guaranteed come in, may as well be Spain, obviously, the start of the European season. So in a way, it's almost like we're getting the first European upgrades of the season coming in at Spain. So if we are trying to take the positive spin on it, the game is actually ensured that we're kind of playing realistically and that the major error update is coming at the place where major error updates come in the real life season. But that's, alas, just a positive spin on things. In all actuality, it's just rather annoying. So we have to move then into qualifying. We've done practice, done all the programs, but even though all the practice programs went smoothly, practice itself started a little bit bumpy here.
We seem to be having some software issues at the moment. Sit tight for a few minutes while we reboot some things, okay?
So that wasn't great. We had two aero failures and then electrical fault on the car or something like that. So yeah, I hope this is not a kind of bad omen for the entire race weekend. We've had two DNFs with Kimi in a row in the last two episodes. Now all this stuff with my car and the upgrades, it's not looking good. Hopefully the bad momentum stops here and we just have a fresh page for tomorrow in qualifying. Talking about that, let's get into it. Let's get a Saturday.
The circuit has rubbed it in with practice, but this is still going to be a difficult session for our drivers as they fight for pole position. Welcome to qualifying here in Azerbaijan. So then, Ant, it's another Grand Prix weekend, another exciting qualifying session ahead of us. What are you going to be looking out for over the next few minutes?
The first question is going to be who can avoid making mistakes. There isn't much margin for error in qualifying, and you have to bear in mind that the track conditions may have changed since practice, particularly as we've had a few support races in the meantime. If the brake bias settings, for example, don't take this into account, it's extremely easy to lock up a front wheel and cause a flat spot. Just like that, your lap's ruined and you've wasted a set of tyres to boot.
So we join in at the very start on my first final lap here in Q1. The car feeling okay, to be fair. Azerbaijan, I've grown to kind of get used to it in the recent couple of games. I used to really hate the track, and now I've sort of kind of gotten used to the flow, you know, keeping off the curves and trying to keep that momentum going in the second sector. And obviously in a straight line, our car's not too bad, so it should kind of hopefully be okay in sectors 1 and 3. Sectors 2 maybe is where we're going to lose some time, you know. Obviously we have the lack of downforce, but this circuit is probably one of the least concerning ones, but you still kind of want it just for a fact, you know, because there still is that kind of understeering feeling for me compared to, you know, I can just see the other cars going a little bit faster through some of these turns, especially, you know, a place like the castle section, maybe just be a bit more committed into the castle section rather than me having to kind of lift off a little bit earlier and brake a little bit harder maybe as we turn in left there. But we go through the S section. Here is definitely where I'm noticing maybe the other cars might be a bit more planted. Like there, I'm definitely not fully confident to go flat out. And just really commit to it there, whereas other cars might be. But we open DRS now down the long main straight and across the line. What is it going to be? Up into P7 at the moment here, but obviously it's very early days in quali, and yep, straight away we're down to what is P18 and 19 then, and eventually it's going to be P20 with the slowest car on track right now. So we need to hope this second flying lap is a lot better. Into turn 1, going a bit better into the turn 1 apex there, taking a bit more curve on the inside and not going so wide on the exit there, and that already gains us a decent amount of time, but we need to gain even more time through the lap here. But trying to stay off of the curves, like I said, trying to keep the momentum, because these curves are just horrendous around here, and that's the real issue with the track, that if if you just go over them, it is a horrible circuit because you lose all the sense of speed in the car, basically. But trying to be as neat as I can through these turns, and so we go through. Easy does it on the exit there as we nearly slam into the wall. At the moment, provisional is Vettel with P1, but of course it's only Q1, so there's still 2 sessions to go to actually get pole position. But we come through the exit, taking a bit of curb, but didn't lose us too much time, I felt. But then through the S section, trying to get it as best I can. No lift there, but having to stay in 7th gear on the exit, and then up into 8th. As we go through now, we straighten up onto the main straight, DRS open, and then it's just a run to the line, and hopefully that is going to be enough to maybe get us through into Q2. Across the line, it's P10. Very, very good stuff, but there's 4 minutes and 50 seconds left in the session. We're going down to P11, and by the time we go through to black and come out, we are down into what is going to be P16. We out-qualify Raikkonen. He is in P17, but both of us miss out again in Q2. So, again, the car showing a lack of pace over 1 lap, but it seems like, again, I'm not going to lie, it seems like, again, the AI do get very quick at quali after you finish the session. Like when you go from session to the timing screen, it's a bit of a shame that is still kind of in the game, you know, like kind of a legacy thing from F1 2018. It kind of seems like that way, but at the same time, it doesn't, because Kimi's right there with us. So I would say if that was like a major thing that was like the case in 2018, you'd probably see Kimi beating me consistently, but we're kind of level pegging. So I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird one to tell, because that pretty much is the pace of the car if both of us are close together on track like that. So it's an odd one to call, but anyway, we have to make the most of it. Once again, plenty of overtaking maybe to do in the Grand Prix, and, you know, just keep the spirits high, because we've had some great races so far. So let's go out there and enjoy the race.
Good afternoon and welcome to Baku. This was the arena, if you think back to 2017, of one of the most eventful races of modern history, with controversy behind the safety car, last-second overtakes, and a historic podium for Williams and for Lance Stroll. So let's find out what lies in store for us this year. It's time for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. With 20 turns and a length of 3.7 miles, Baku City Circuit in the heart of the Azerbaijan capital is a real test of a driver's endurance, patience and precision. 90-degree corners through Sector 1 lead into a tightening uphill sprint as we start to circle around the old city. Then a 1.4-mile chase flat out through Sector 3 towards the finish line. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. Let's talk briefly about Lando Norris. As with all the drivers at this level, they have a lot of ambition, but Formula One's a daunting step up from any other series, so expectations are high right from the start.
And this is something that has ended the career of many a young driver, as that leap up to Formula One proves to be too much. But luckily in this case, I'd say they're doing a good solid job, and the risk the team took in signing them is definitely starting to pay off.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Leclerc, Sergio Perez, and Ricciardo, Verstappen, Hülkenberg, Stroll, and Kevin Magnussen. Weber, Gasly, Carlos Sainz, and Butler, Albon, the engineer, Kimi Raikkonen, and Lando Norris. Grosjean and George Russell ends our grid lineup. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Right, so on the grid now ahead of the GP, checking out the strategy screen, we've got a one-stop or a two-stop here. The one-stop, again, on mediums to hard. That seems to be our new favourite strategy, really, ever since Bahrain. And again, like China, there is a bit of a rain forecast here. So a very similar race, maybe, to what the Chinese Grand Prix was, but obviously a very, very different circuit. But I think that one-stop will be the best way to go, of course, trying to get track position around here. And I don't think we have the pace to even pull off a two-stop in terms of enough pace to come back and alleviate that one extra pit stop. So we will go mediums to hards, and again we'll hopefully have better pace than we did at China at the beginning, because it was only until the rain where we started to actually pick up some pace at Shanghai. So let's get into this then as we go towards 5 red lights. So the Azerbaijan Grand Prix here in Baku for round number 4 of the 2019 season. 5 lights are out, and we're underway, and it's an okay start for us. Good one for Butler versus Albon there. Raikkonen with a good one, and forces me to go defensive to the inside because he's trying to go around the outside. Albon and Butler touch a little bit on the exit, and they're kind of a bit of a blockade for me now because I don't have anywhere to go. I wanted to try and maybe dive bomb down the inside of turn 2, not worked out, but instead I'll go down the inside of them on the exit of turn 2. They're so busy squabbling over one another that I can try and make this a double pass down the back straight here. Gasly really slow. I don't know if he had a penalty or what, but he's way down the order, and he's side by side with Carlos Sainz there, so he's having a mare. So could we try and overtake a Red Bull car? We'll have to see, because he's still side by side with Carlos Sainz as we confirm that position ahead of the two Toro Rossos. But here we go now to the inside, the Spaniard in the McLaren having a little look, but he gets very close to our front end there. I have to back out of that, and unfortunately just couldn't find the kind of grip I was looking for to the inside on that curb to keep it through. But we will send one to the inside. A very late move on Carlos Sainz. Can we hold it through? No, we can't. And of course into the castle section, pretty much near impossible to make a 2x2 effort go through there, and so we have to just let go of that theoretical pass and wait patiently maybe for the main straight as we move on to lap number 2. Of course, the main straight is very much just a motorway here for F1 cars, so we're just pulling through with the slipstream. We're so far back from him, but we're still gaining towards turn 1. He goes defensive, but we're going to go to the outside then, and we're early on the brakes, but then in the second phase of braking we let go of the brake pedal and just let the car roll through very nicely around the outside there. So a little bit of a nice tactic there just to kind of slow the car down early and then kind of let the momentum just take us through mid-apex, and that was a really nice move on the outside. Meanwhile, up ahead we've got some fighting going on with the Renault and Haas, and there also is a Williams ahead of Gasly right now, so Gasly a bit embarrassing for him. I think that's Weber, it must be, and it looks like now he's going to go for a move on the Renault ahead of him there. So Weber again outperforming that Williams car to no end there. I think he's made the pass. It's hard to tell with this camera angle. Yes, he has, and he's actually going for the move on the Haas, and it's side by side. Look at that, 2x2. Lovely bit of action there between Williams v Haas and Red Bull v Renault, and that will be a really highly contested battle between Gasly and the Renault-powered, well, Renault Works car versus obviously the Red Bull Honda ditching the Renault engine for 2019. So this is a vital fight for Christian Horner and Red Bull to save face here, and Gasly does get that pass done on the Renault car. But look at that, the Williams car overtaking the Haas as well and doing very well. But we've got 2x2 as well, side by side, I should say, ahead of us. So hopefully that kind of slows all of those guys up, and essentially we have a Bahrain 2.0 maybe, if all those guys can hopefully carry on fighting, please, and then we can try and catch up. Meanwhile, Raikkonen struggling once again in the early part of the race. I don't know what on earth's going on with Raikkonen, but he's just really slow at the moment in this first part of the season, really. I hope he picks up soon enough, but we'll have to see how it goes. But now we've got a 3-wide moment here, and look at that. The Williams car, after overtaking the Renault and the Haas, has gone ahead and gone for the other Haas and a Racing Point car. He's got the Haas. It was a 3-wide moment. He's made it around the outside of one car. He'll now try around the outside of the other. Weber absolutely on fire. This German man is surely showing all the signs of a future world champion at the moment here. The way he's dragging this Williams car, an utter dog of a car, up the grid. He hasn't quite made the move. Now he will, down the inside. Oh my God, what a dive bomb. Jesus, get this man a race-winning car already. My God. Lucas Weber, my former F2 teammate, absolute animal in the car, absolute animal. He's doing absolute bits here, and so we're going to try and catch up. We've got a Renault v Red Bull fight once again. Hulkenberg down the inside of Gasly. That'll slow them both up, and there we are, right in the background, on time, back to our POV on lap number 8. And now this is where the fun can begin. We can try and chase down Hulkenberg and try and swing through. A little bit of a lift off, as you can see there. The downforce really lacking on the rear end there. But Hulkenberg with a very aggressive move to the inside there. Bit of contact made. Here we go. Double toe. Overtake Gasly. Overtake Hulkenberg to the left-hand side. It's going to be a lovely double pass, I think, into turn 1. Easy on the brakes. Hulkenberg tries to make a move to the outside. We go wide on purpose. Squeeze them out. And we're up into P11. And now we can try and chase after Kevin Magnussen. But what a bit of action that was in the last few laps of this Grand Prix so far. But now it's time to maybe start thinking about the pit stop phases, because I've been told, my engineer said, that rain will be coming in about 10 minutes-ish or plus that. So that's got me thinking maybe an early stop might be good and go on to another set of medium tyres, knowing that we're probably guaranteed to go on to inters. So I'm going to come in on lap number 9 here. We go into the pit lane, but unfortunately I was a bit of an idiot and I forgot to set the medium tyre on my heads-up display. So that was very frustrating. So I basically made an early stop for nothing, and I'm still onto the hard tyres. It's not too early. It's probably maybe 2-3 laps earlier than I wanted to. but it would have been a lot better to go onto mediums, because I'm pretty sure the rain is coming, because this race is pretty much looking like it's going to be like China, where that one icon was there. Engineers confirmed it already, 10 minutes to go, which around here is pretty much 5-6 laps in time, so that was frustrating, but alas, we're going to have to deal with it now and just carry on hard tyres. Hopefully the car has some sort of pace on the hards. And on lap 11, we are starting to catch Lando Norris here. He's on the medium tyres, but he's way back here in 18th place, so I suspect he's just got maybe a little damage or just really bad pace here in the McLaren car at the moment, so let's try and have him here. But at the moment, finding difficult in sector 2, obviously it's very difficult to find a way past the car, but we're trying to ebb and flow and see where we can get in there. We've got a really good exit. Norris goes very aggressive to defend the inside line, but not having any of it. We're going to send one to the inside there. It's going to be very close, but unlike the move with Carlos Sainz in the opening lap of the race, we can get Lando Norris down the inside there before the castle turn of the left and then the right as we go up the crest. And so that's a very nice move on Norris there. You know, worked it through for a few corners, got that great exit, but good to see Norris was actually really aggressive there and tried to move to block me off, so much so that I nearly got squeezed into the wall if he went any more right. But now we go down the main straight onto lap number 13 into turn 1, and we're going to be past Carlos Sainz, Butler, and it's going to be Magnussen here coming out of the pit lane. So you know what, the effective undercut we've got on this same strategy onto hard tyres actually worked out a treat, because Magnussen was ahead of us before the pit stop phases. We're now side by side with him there. It's very close. He dive bombed me into turn 2. That was quite surprising. I thought he was going to give up the position very easily, but no, he's going to come at us there. And also the same thing with Weber, who's behind us now. So yeah, we definitely have made a huge undercut, because remember, Weber overtook Magnussen and was well ahead, and now we've been overtaken by Magnussen as I get a tank slapper on the rear end there, makes some contact with him. He just kind of straightens on my car actually, and so losing some pace now after being under pressure from Magnussen straight away into turn 2, locking up the front left. Just not very good signs right now of feeling the pressure after that, and maybe now the tyres are starting to feel a bit worse now that we've got a few laps on them. Maybe starting to grain a little bit potentially, because Weber now is going to come through and feel like he's going to make an overtake here. Obviously in a straight line, that Williams car is going to be godly here, but at least, you know, that undercut did actually find us some time, and so we didn't actually, it's not too much of a kick to the teeth that we didn't go on to medium tyres, but still a little bit annoyed at that. But Weber does pass us with DRS wide open, but can we try and dive bomb him back into turn 1? No, we can't. Going to go easy on the brakes and instead do that same move we did to, I think, what was it, the Renault, was it? I can't remember which car we overtook around the outside now, turn 1 like this, but we did it in some style, rolling the car through turn 1, and we do it again, you know, braking early and then just letting the car go through a little bit faster than our opponent there, and we've got Weber back, but he's going to come through. Is he going to go to the left or right? I'm not too sure. We're going to park it to the outside. Weber does make the dive. We're going to try and go the switchback move, but no, he blocks me off and blocks the switchback there. So some good defensive driving once again from the German in the Williams car, and he stays ahead in P11. But on to lap 14, can we try and get that long slipstream on Weber? We've got our Grosjean behind me on the medium tyres, so what can he do as well? We need to try and get past and kind of get a bit of a hurdle between myself and Grosjean. So here we go down the inside of the Williams. Going to be tough on the entry and exit there. A little bit of contact made, but we squeeze them out, and we're up into P9, and the Haas car now is down the inside of me as well. Jesus, I was about to say the Williams car, but he's also down the inside of me. So both Haas cars loving the dive bomb down the inside of turn 2, I must say. But we're going to try and go defensive on Grosjean here, use some overtake mode on ERS, and make sure we stay ahead in P9, park the car very awkwardly in the middle of the circuit and maintain that P9 position. And now with clean air, can we please try and catch up to Magnussen maybe? I don't think so, because he's going to get away from us, and Weber is going to continue to try and close up. And now the rain has arrived as well. So you can kind of see what I mean by it's kind of annoying we didn't do that strategy of 2 sets of mediums, because this would have been perfect. The medium tyres would have just been starting to go off at this point in the Grand Prix. So yeah, we could have been a little bit faster. We could have maybe potentially been ahead of Magnussen this entire time if we were on mediums, but oh well, alas, you can say a lot of stuff in hindsight. So we just continue on right now. My engineer said it's still too dry to go on to the intermediate tyres, but it is very slippery, so it's challenging right now. We've got Grosjean making a move on Weber there on the previous lap. On to lap 17, we're still going through, but the rain's coming down even more. But my engineer's just saying to carry on and just stick through and try and tiptoe around, a lot like what happened at China. Lock up on the front left tyre though. I think straight away I can already tell this is the lap we have to come in. It's already way too wet now. We have to come in. We probably should have come in on that previous lap, but I kind of stuck to what my engineer was telling me there, and so immediately straight away at the end of the lap we come in along with everyone else behind us. But actually the people ahead of us have not come in for inters. You can see on the top left there Magnussen still on hard tyres, so I think all of us could try and catch up a little bit of time on the guys ahead of us on the inters here. So let's see. I don't think it'll be enough to completely undercut Magnussen, but maybe we can close up enough where then we can push on onto the inters, use that good pace we know we have on the inters so far in this game, and try and maybe overtake the Dane late on in this Grand Prix. But here we go, out on inters. We've got 7 laps left of this Grand Prix. The Grand Prix is flown by actually now once we made that first pit stop there, and a lot of understeer on the exit into turn 2. Hopefully that's not a sign of things to come. Hopefully the car is still working well in the wet. Here we go, on to lap 20 then. Where is Magnussen? He's out just now of the pit lane, so we have caught up a bit of time there because we go through turn 1. Magnussen just ahead of us going through turn 2 now, so I have caught up a little bit on him, so I think we can try and catch him maybe into this Grand Prix. Just have to try and get these next 7 laps, including this one, as clean as we can, and try and use the traction out of these corners to try and catch up. Meanwhile, a bit further back, we've got Gasly fighting one of the Haas cars, and Weber and the Williams is coming up behind them there, so there might be a 3-way scrap going on, but Gasly's had a horrid time at Azerbaijan. They're obviously down the order from whatever that was wrong in qualifying for him, or a penalty maybe, and he really hasn't recovered due to the traffic here, and so the Haas is giving him a good fight, but Weber's going to come through now with straight line speed of that Williams car, might just make a move to the outside. Will he actually go for it there? He's made one pass already in the Haas. He goes around the outside of the Red Bull car and makes the overtake. I'll say it again, this man is an animal in this car. He's doing absolutely wonderful in this car, and it's crazy. If he doesn't get snapped up, by the end of the season on a transfer, I'll be surprised, because I think he deserves a better car, because what can he do in a different car? I don't want to know yet, but because we're not there yet performance-wise with myself and Alfa for sure, so that'll be quite scary. But we move now back to our POV, lap 22, and we have caught up to Magnussen finally, so can we make one last overtake in this Grand Prix to get up into P8 and get some solid points at Azerbaijan here? We're closing up to Magnussen, but again, like the move with Lando Norris, we're kind of caught up behind in the second sector, so we have to just wait patiently and try and suss out where we can make the move. Could we make the move on the same place as Norris maybe, as we try and keep tight to the line on the left, then tight on the right, keep it off the curb though, get the power down as early as we can, and yes, it's going to be a similar move. Can we make a move to the inside of Magnussen? No, he goes a little bit late on the brake, so I can't make that, but we go wide on the entry, switch back effectively to the outer there. We're going to go side by side into the castle section, and we will be side by side through the apex there, and we have made it through. And we've done the impossible. We've gone side by side in the Baku castle section there. Probably helps that we're going so slow on intermediates, but we made it through. Absolutely amazing stuff there. I think maybe there might have been a bit of contact though, so maybe some damage on the rear end for us, or Magnus on the front end there, but we made it through 2 by 2. Therefore I didn't say anything about collision, so we made it through pretty damn nicely. So what a way to end the episode. And so we come through to the line, get the checkered flag, and get that P8, and so that's some very solid points here at Baku.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Great effort there from Ferrari to take the victory today. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
It's a heroic effort for any driver to race in conditions like these, and seeing them fight their way to the front was very special indeed. They were able to find all the grip, all the good lines, and have the confidence to get on the power to top it all off. That's what pushed them into first place here today.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. That was a close race with Lucas. As former teammates, you must know each other's moves well.
So I mentioned in the commentary is worldly driving this episode. I've got to say on the right-hand side, did a bit of sportsmanship and say we have a lot to learn off each other.
How did you feel when you saw your old rival from F2 have to withdraw from today's race?
This was in regards to Devon Butler, who I believe DNF'd there, but we didn't actually see it in the highlights of the race. But I'll kind of use this as a way to kind of big up my team, actually, and have a little dig at Devon.
You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy?
Obviously, again, in the rain, the car was very good, but also in the dry, the nimbleness of the car in Sector 2 was working really well, so I will compliment the chassis side with that, and that kind of fits best.
Your team must be ecstatic with how you're performing.
And with this one, you know what, we've been on a roll with sportsmanship kind of stuff, so I'm going to say that I'm really glad I'm meeting their expectations with the bottom answer there, and hopefully big up the team once again.
Appreciate your time.
So here are the full race results then. Sebastian Vettel then wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. So 3 wins for Ferrari to 1 for Mercedes this season so far in the career mode. They're Bottas second. Again, Hamilton not even on the podium there again. So Hamilton really slumping so far in this career mode. And Bottas definitely having all the porridge in the world. For us, we move up into the top 10 then in the Drivers' Championship, P9. And we move Alfa up into P6. So doing a really good job, I would say, if I do say so myself, for Alfa Romeo Racing. It's unfortunate Raikkonen, he's had 2 DNFs and just hasn't performed that well in the other 2 races he's been in. So I don't think it's going to stay this way the entire time. I reckon at some point Raikkonen will pick up the pieces. Generally, sometimes you do have this with teammates, with the AI teammates. I've noticed this back in F1 2018 career mode as well, that sometimes they do just have a string of bad luck and then they do come back with a load of momentum. So let's just hold off for now. We are beating Kimi quite well right now, but it could come back to him. But to say we're being so positive, we unfortunately do not get a bonus 600 points here because obviously we didn't have such a great race at China, so we did not get the points we needed to meet the objective there. So unfortunately we miss out on those bonus points, which is a shame, but it is what it is. We'll have to move on. But now we go through to a contract renegotiation here, the first time we renegotiate a contract. So I'm going to go quite big and try and ask for a lot of stuff because we've done a lot of good work for Alfa. So I'm going to try and go for simultaneous developments and upgrade speed to try and really drill into the aero department of this car and really try and get the much needed downforce we need.
All right, the terms have been agreed. All that's left is to sign the paperwork. You'll be on this new deal from the next race weekend.
And to my surprise, I actually got away with asking for level 2 on simultaneous development upgrade speed and level 3 on race bonus, just showing that obviously I think the fact that I chose the Ferrari Driver Academy, bumped up the rep for Alfa Romeo quite early on anyway, so it means that now I can renegotiate a contract so much better as well because of the performance I'm putting in. So that's just another kind of plus point for you guys at home when you play the game yourself. Definitely choose Driver Academy that you want to drive for, that the team you want to drive for, because it will make a big difference for the contracts later down the line. So now moving to upgrades, then of course we had to repurchase the 2 aero updates, so we can't do anything on the aero tree quite yet. So I thought I may as well spend my money now because I was a bit annoyed we didn't spend anything before and we had to spend it all again on aero. So we're going to buy a major chassis weight reduction, so that's going to come in 4 episodes time because the new contract perk of the upgrade speed only gets applied after the next race. So we still unfortunately have 4 weeks for a major right now. From next episode, it will take 3 weeks or 2 weeks. I can't remember which way it is, but anyway, so that will come in 4 episodes time, the major chassis weight reduction. But for Spain, next episode we'll have 2 major aero, and then Canada will have that chassis weight reduction, which is quite good timing for Canada. And so that will end out the Azerbaijan Grand Prix episode. Pretty good race, a much better obviously position than we had at China, so can't complain. Very, very good stuff. So guys, if you did enjoy the episode, be sure to smash the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you are new around here, to subscribe for weekly F1 content. I've been Aarava. Hope you enjoyed today. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.